Liam, you've completed your first season back here at Oxford United. To start with, take us back to November. When you first came in, what were your first impressions of both the place and also the squad?
Yeah, obviously the place. It was nice to be based in the training ground. That was a nice feeling, and to feel really accepted as part of the club. And the squad, I knew that it was a really talented group that just needed to find a direction and find a bit of a purpose, which I think we did quite quickly. And there's a really good togetherness, and there has always been a really good togetherness within the players. It was just trying to put them in a direction that sort of allowed everyone to start to flourish, start to build cohesively together. And I think that was, I thought that happened quite quickly, which was nice and allowed us to have. It was a pretty unbelievable start. To be fair, I couldn't have asked for a better start in terms of, I guess, the results that had happened into the direction that we started to go.
Before you came in, we hadn't had the start to the season that we would have wanted. What were the first things that you felt that we needed to implement when you first arrived?
There was quite a few things, to be fair. I think some of the players said it in the first couple of interviews after I'd come in. I think intensity was one, like starting to get them working at a level that was challenging them on a regular basis, to make sure that we could deal with the demands of the game more consistently. And that's something that I think is really important, and something that we've talked about quite a bit as a coaching group. So there was approaching with that. It was also, the thing for me is when you're coming in at the time of the year was trying to quickly get to know players and then find out where their strengths and their weaknesses were, and then start to try and instill a bit more belief in them, because obviously the situation, it's going to affect confidence, it's going to affect purpose. Whether people want to admit it or not, that was definitely the case, and then we start to see individuals turn their performances around and start to excel, and that helped us as a whole group.
And it was 7 wins in your first 7 games. Now you've had a bit of chance to reflect on that. What do you put that form down to, do you think?
I don't know if I could put it down to any one thing. I think probably just mirrors what I just said. It was about giving the group an identity and a purpose. I think that was one of the first things that I wanted to do, and obviously I think we changed formation and structure from how things had been, because in my opinion it looked more appropriate for the group and it's closer to how I wanted us to work. So I guess that was potentially a catalyst within it, but the girls sort of bought into the ideals and the principles that I wanted to instill and sort of ran with it. And obviously when things are going positively, it's easier to add to stuff, and if you come in and things don't go how you want it to go to start with, then people will lose confidence in you and trust in what you're doing. But the fact that everything seemed to work quite well to start with, I guess, enabled the group to have more confidence in what we were asking them to do, and I think that was a really important part of it all.
And when you come into a new club, I imagine that the backroom staff that are already in place play a huge role in being able to hit the ground running. How much have they helped you since you've been here over the last few months?
The staff have been brilliant. I can't speak highly enough about any of them as people. They've been the same. They've bought into everything. Yes, they've checked and challenged a few bits and pieces, but for the most part, everyone's really been on board. And for me personally, it's been great to work with people again that I've spent a lot of time working with the last time I was here. But everyone just seemed to understand why we were going after things, and I think that was probably really important. That when I'm telling them that we're going to do something, it's the why. So everyone has that common sense of what we're like, the common understanding of what we're going after.
And over the last few weeks, you've handed out a few debuts to players from the pathway, the likes of Belle, Eva, Abby. Can you tell us a bit about the importance of developing that relationship with the Girls Academy and why you felt like they deserved an opportunity to play in the first team?
Yeah, so one thing that I was keen on coming back was having players train up regularly, because I think exposure for the higher performing academy players is really important for their development, and exposure to our environment. And the girls did really well within that. Obviously, I think it took them a little bit of time to adjust to the intensity of what it's like playing senior football. But over time, that you start to see massive progression in them, and I think that was really important. Our job as part of the football club, when you've got an academy that the club put a lot of time and energy into, is to give people opportunities. For us, I guess an ideal one, we'd probably like to get more opportunities we can, but we're in a really competitive spot, and we're trying to push to finish as high as we could, because that was conversations we had within the group to get us to finish back into the top four, which is something that I thought was really important, especially where we were when I came in. It's just, I think if people are good enough, then they're good enough. The age is irrelevant, and it shows other players within the pathway like what can be achieved if you have the right attitude and right drive.
And now, if we look ahead to the summer now, we've been quick to make a really exciting signing in Sophie Quirk. How happy are you to get that deal over the line, and why is she someone that you wanted to bring into the club?
Sophie's someone I've known about for a long time, played against her way too many times, and it's someone I've got a lot of respect for. I think what she's done so far in her career has been brilliant, and I think she fits the dynamic and the direction that we want to move into. And for me to have someone like that commit to want to be at the football club shows where we're moving to, and I'm looking forward to working with her on a consistent basis.
Can you give us a bit of an insight into how the recruitment process works at this level? Are you a manager who's quite hands-on throughout the whole process?
Yeah, we need to be. Obviously with where the game's at and how we're pushing. I've been in this game long enough now, so I've got a number of connections, so an understanding of people. So you always keep your eye on what's going on in different leagues, different teams, and there's individuals that potentially fit your style of play you're always looking at. But that's just the nature of football. So that's one thing that I think if you just sit here and ask Matt the same question, he'd probably give you a very similar answer. It's just something you have to do within these roles.
I remember you said at the end of the final match in our interview that you were starting to see some really nice connections being formed on the pitch. Going into the summer, is it just about building upon those existing foundations and then bringing in a few bits of quality like Sophie to help get us into a good position going into the new season?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I've been open and I've said I've been really happy with the group, and we've got some very talented players here. And I think we're keeping a group that's got a very strong foundation, and there's a reasons why we've structured this off season the way that we have, is because we believe in players that we've got within the group, and you always want to add, you always want to try and bring in fresh personalities, fresh perceptions, because then it allows you to keep moving forward. So really happy that we've retained a lot of players that was, I think, key to how we can continue to move forward, because we have had a really positive 5 months or however long it's been, that it was not one where we needed to rip everything down and start again. Like, the players have bought into what they've been asked to do and have really pushed themselves forward, and I'm just looking forward to just continuing with that.
And it is now just a few weeks until pre-season gets going again. How excited are you to get back out there on the grass working with the team? But also, are you managing to squeeze in a bit of downtime before it all kicks off again?
I think I need a bit of downtime first. That's one thing I definitely need, because it's been the off season. It's supposed to be a bit of downtime, but that hasn't started yet. So I need to look after myself, and we'll be making sure to get a break. But I'm just looking forward to. I think this will be a massive step for us as a club, that we'll have a really talented group of players with us that we really want to hit the ground running with. And having worked with the girls for the last 5 months, I've got a really good understanding of what's here, and ways to keep challenging and pushing players to move them forward.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Cool.
Nice one, mate.